Conducting these SGI talks, that are Sagar Group of Institution talks, for more than 2 years now. We have had close to 40 esteemed speakers from the different domains of leadership, management, agribusiness. And we have been doing this with an intention to close the gap between industry and institution. And I'm happy to share that we have been successfully doing so. Today, we have a very esteemed guest with us. Let me take this opportunity to introduce our guest here. So, Shri R.G. Rajan is a graduate in chemical engineering from the Institute of Technology, Banaras Hindu University, and an MBA from Rothschild Business School, Glasgow, which is in United Kingdom. He has had a stellar career of around 36 years in various public sector companies. Shri Rajan started his career in 1980 with a 5-year stint in Engineers India Limited, followed by a 21-year association with GAIL, that is Gas Authority of India Limited, where he rose to the position of Executive Director. In 2007, Shri Rajan took over as the Chairman and Managing Director of Projects and Development India Limited, which is PDIL. Following a successful 4-year tenure at PDIL, Sir took over as the CMD, that is Chairman and Managing Director of Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers, RCF, which is in Mumbai, in November 2010, and successfully led the company till June 2016. Sir was also the chairman of the Fertilizer Association of India from 2012 to 2014 and the Standing Conference of Public Enterprises from 2015 to 2016. After his superannuation, Sir is engaged in mentoring young engineers and managers and providing consultancy for projects in the field of chemicals and fertilizers. The title of the talk that Sir is going to talk about is Life Lessons for Managers, and incidentally, it is the book that Sir has written, and it is available on Amazon and Flipkart. Sir would be speaking about it more. Before I request our esteemed speaker to give his presentation, there are some ground rules that I would request all our participants to follow. If there is any query that you have, kindly wait till the end and unmute your mic, introduce yourself and ask. You could also write your queries in the chat box, and if you want us to ask on your behalf, we will do so. So over to you, sir. Rajan sir, you can take over the session.
Thank you, Mr. Krishna, and thank you, Veerbhadra, for inviting me to give this talk to these graduates of FABS on a very important area. Agriculture is a backbone. It was almost, I think, 50% of our population in agriculture, and around 15 to 16% of our GDP comes from agriculture. So we are in a very good, very important field. And in fact, India is now exporter of food grains. As you all know that recently there's a war between Russia and Ukraine, and there's been a global food shortage, and India has become a big exporter of food grains and other commodities in this period. So I compliment you for choosing this very important area for your career. I wish all the students all success. Now, coming to today's presentation, as Mr. Krishna mentioned earlier, I am going to talk on my book, Life Lessons for Managers. Next, please, slide. In the presentation, I'll talk about my book, about the habits, attitude, and character. Communication is very important. Ethics in personal life and in business life. Leadership. Delegation of powers. How to manage change is a very important thing in today's world. Always have attitude of gratitude. And very important point is that you are responsible for your happiness. Also present a few slides on strategies followed by various companies and how they implement them. And finally, I talk about developing a legacy and golden rules for success. Next slide, please. So, elements of my book. In my book, I stress the importance of developing good habits early in life. And because when you are a child, when you are in the teens, you can develop good habits easily. As you grow older and older, it becomes more difficult to change your habits. So good habits should be formed early in life. All of you know that today we are living in a fast changing world, and every few months we have a new mobile phone, we have a new laptop, or we have new inventions and discoveries coming up. So this fast changing world gives us a lot of opportunities, but at the same time, there are many challenges. And in this fast changing world, learning is an ongoing process and lifelong process. You cannot afford to stop learning at any point of your life, or you'll become outdated. So learning keeps on going throughout your life. And my book lists the key traits a person should have and the tools one should adopt for successfully navigating through life, both personal and your career life. Next. See, this is a very important slide. It shows you everything, basically. It says that change your habits and change your life. If you have good habits, you'll have success. And if you have bad habits, you will have failure. Habits make a man or a woman, for that matter. Next. See, good habits and a positive attitude are the foundation for strong character and a basis for achieving success in life. Now, the few good habits which I mentioned in my book are rising early in the morning. Some people say get up at 5 o'clock, some say at 4:30, whatever it is, but it's best to get up early in the morning so you have time for yourself before the work starts every day. So you have 2 to 3 hours of your own time where you can do many things of importance to you. Practicing meditation and or saying prayers will help you have a calm and peaceful mind. Reading is a very good habit, and in today's world, reading is becoming less and less. So my stress is that people should read more. You read journals, you read books, you read on the internet, but you read, because reading expands your mind, it widens your mind. Punctuality is a very important habit, and in India, unfortunately, punctuality is not very well maintained in many walks of life. And today I'm happy that at 3 o'clock we could start this program, not on time. So I compliment, of course, FABS and Sagar Group of Institutions, because punctuality is very important in life today. And any task given to you, you should give full attention to the task. Next point I mentioned is that avoid procrastination. What job can be done today should be done today and not postponed for tomorrow. The next point is owning one's mistakes, because in life, every person will make mistakes. There's not a single person in this life who can say that I have never made a mistake. So you make mistakes in your personal life, you make mistakes in your career, but you have to own it up and say, okay, next time I will not do it, I will do better. So if you don't own the mistakes, sometimes you get caught later on, and then you are in many very big problems. An important point is that always steer clear of gossip anywhere, basically, especially in the office, because in the office gossip will again take you down the different path. Next. Now, some good habits. Build what the slide says, that build good habits. Now, self-belief is very important in a person. Self-belief is the person's belief in his or her ability to complete tasks and achieve goals. And actually, self-belief will lead to self-confidence. And how do you build self-belief? You should have small goals. And when you win the goal, when you complete the goal, you should celebrate the goals, the win. And surround yourself with positive people. Get feedback from family, friends, office colleagues, and always prime yourself, because you see that when some players playing, suppose you have got Roger Federer playing tennis game, he primes himself by affirmation. At this point, he's going to win. So always prime yourself by constant affirmation, and love yourself, because you should love yourself unconditionally. And these are some things which will help you build self-belief. Next slide, please. See, in our mind, we have thoughts running every second of the day, and daily it is estimated that 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts run through our mind every day, and many of them are negative. So negative thoughts, they drag our total personality, and they also are a drag on our career and relationships. So as I mentioned earlier, that overcome negative thoughts by articulation of affirmations, that I will succeed, I am healthy, I am strong, I am succeeding, I will get so much percent marks in the exam, I will pass the exams. These are examples of affirmations which you can make and which will help you to succeed. And writing these affirmations on index cards. You can make a small card and write these affirmations on index cards and see the cards from time to time, so that these affirmations will help you to go forward. And practice visualization, because you should visualize that what goal you want to achieve and how you will achieve them, so that, and after you achieve them, what is your feelings. So that way, by visualization, you can succeed to a great extent. Next point. Next slide. So next important point is that we should have effective communication. And the 7 C's of effective communication are: in your communication, you should be correct. There should be no wrong facts or figures in your communication. Your communication should be clear and articulate, so people can easily follow you. And whenever you speak with confidence, so that people believe in you. Important point is that in your communications, you should be concise. Don't speak for 20 minutes what can be said in 2 or 3 minutes. So be concise and be coherent in your arguments, and always have concrete proposals and concrete figures and messages. And always show courtesy to the audience, to your fellow speakers, and to people with whom you are talking. So these are 7 C's of effective communication, and if you follow them, you will become a good communicator. Next. And have empathy. Whenever you communicate with people, you may be in a position of authority, but always have empathy when you talk to people, so people feel comfortable talking to you. And also, before you speak, jot down ideas and organize them, so that you can make a coherent speech or proposal. And if you are in a meeting, what one should do is that encourage participation by all participants. All people should be allowed to speak their mind, because some people by nature are hesitant to speak in meetings, and so they should be encouraged to speak in meetings. And also, don't ask very yes or no questions. Always ask open-ended questions, so that people will give different replies, and that will enhance the level of the decision making. And always, when you speak to people, maintain eye contact. And the next point is most important point: listening. We don't big mistake people make is that we don't listen properly. We speak more and listen less, and we are frequently interrupting people when they speak. The golden rule is that always speak less, listen more, and don't interrupt. In fact, they say that you should listen more. Say 60% of the time you should listen, and only 20% of the time you should speak, and balance 20% for other things. So listening more is very important. And if you are a leader, if you're leading a team, always speak last after hearing everyone's views. Next. So that the next point important is being ethic. And ethics in society is very important today, and every day, basically every world, every age, and today more so important. So the ethics in society include that: be sincere in all your dealings with other people. Always be honest and truthful in your dealings with other people. Respect and love for yourself and for the other people to whom with whom you're interacting. The next important point is timeliness. Always maintain time. Respect for work. Maybe it may be a small work or a big work. You may be in a big position or a small position, but always respect the work. Respect for our environment, because in today's world, environment is very important, and we should respect the environment. So if you want examples of ethical persons, in the Mahabharata, you have Yudhishthira. He's the most ethical person. He never spoke a lie in his life. And you have example of Vishwanath, cricketer of the 80s and 70s. Once Vishwanath called a cricketer from England team a ban, because he felt that the umpire had given him out in a wrong fashion, wrong. So he didn't mind to lose the match, but he said, "I'll play the game very fairly." Similarly, how Rahul Dravid today is a very fair person, ethical person when he plays cricket. And Vinoba Bhave, of course, all of you know very well. And in unethical persons, you have in Mahabharata, you have Duryodhan, and in Ramayana, we have Ravan, Ravana, who are basically unethical persons. And if you come to the modern world, you have many examples. For example, you had the Satyam scandal in 2008 when Ramalinga Raju fudged the accounts. So that can't be called ethical action. Again, you have many other examples in today's world, and we have to maintain ethics while working in society or companies. Next. So ethics in workplace. So when you are, in addition to the ethics required in society, live in society, the following additional ethics are required at workplace. So when you work in a company or a college or institution, you have to maintain confidentiality. So whatever information you get from the company or from your other workplace, that should be maintained confidential. It can't be told to the third persons or the other companies. Because that in today's world, information is power. So information should be maintained in a confidential manner. Integrity should be very highly integrative. It should be having should not do any hanky-panky things while at work. And with your co-workers and clients and subordinates, always maintain friendly and cordial relationships. And you should be eager to learn new things at your workplace, and always should have desire to take on additional responsibilities. So these things are very important in the workplace. Again, in the workplace, we have many ethical people. The two examples we could easily relate to are Mr. Narayan Murthy of Infosys and Mr. Ratan Tata of Tata Group. Everybody will agree that they are very ethical persons and they do the business very ethically. Next. So this is basically again on leadership. Leaders are not born, leaders are made, because any person who's born can become a leader by proper training and good habits. And you need to have a strong character for becoming a leader. And first step leaders should take is to build a good team. And leaders should learn to say no, because in your career or in your other activities, there will be occasions that you cannot say yes to everybody. For example, when you have to promote out of 10 people, say only 2 or 3 people. Naturally, the 7 people you have to say that I cannot promote you. So you cannot say that I cannot tell anybody about that I will not promote him. You have to be open and in a frank manner, having empathy, tell the person with whom is not being promoted that why he is not being promoted. So leaders should learn to say no. Next thing is that practice what you preach. If you say that come on time, you should come on time. Similarly, when you go to a plant and say that the plant should be operated in a safe manner, you should also follow all the safety precautions. For example, when you go to a plant, you need to wear a helmet, you need to wear safety shoes, you need to wear some places eye goggles. So these things, suppose you're practicing that, telling that you should suppose you're preaching that you should be safe in your operations, the plant, you should follow all the safety precautions yourself. And always have willingness to learn new things and courage to face difficulties, because in the workplace or in on your even college life, you will have difficulties. So always you have to have the courage to face difficulties and overcome them in a calm and cool manner. Next. So always leaders should be polite in the communication and give feedback which is constructive. And always, suppose you have to scold a person for doing he has not done something properly, don't scold in public, always scold always counsel in private, and you praise in public. There's a golden rule that always praise in public and give the feedback, whatever feedback is there, in private, so that the person getting the feedback, he doesn't feel bad about it. And develop mutual trust. Leaders should have trust in their team, so the team will also have trust in their leader. And of course, one person cannot do everything in life. So delegation of job is very important. And as you go up the ladder, you need to delegate more and more to your subordinates. The next point Ensuring work-life balance is very important. If you keep on working and there's no home front activities, your home life suffers. Similarly, if you give too much focus on your personal relationships and not focus on the job, again, the work-life balance is not maintained. So always have work-life balance, that so both your work life and your personal life, they should go hand in hand. And always you should manage change successfully. The example of a good leader who was made is Kumaramangalam Birla. I think all of you know that he's heading this group, Aditya Birla Group, and his father passed away, I think, in 1995. And at that time, I think Kumaramangalam Birla was hardly, I think, in the 20s, early 20s, or maybe late 20s. And at that time, he didn't have any management experience, but he came, he joined the team, and today he could take the company from a $2 billion turnover company to almost $50 billion company. So that is how on the job he learned, and he became a leader on the job. There are many other examples of where leaders are made. Next. I was telling earlier about the need for delegation of work to subordinates. So delegation is assigning tasks to a team. You need to give broad guidelines to the team and select the right team so that they can do the job in an effective manner. And you need to monitor the progress at regular intervals. If the task done is successful, let the team members take credit and praise them. And if things go wrong, as sometimes they will, accept responsibility. And along with the team, you do evaluation and feedback. I can give example of delegation in RCF that we increased the financial powers to the CMD, to directors, and also to down the orders, the executives, so that with the more financial powers, decisions were made quickly and the company's performance improved by leaps and bounds. Similarly, in performance appraisal also, the down managers, line managers were given more power to rate their subordinates. And this resulted in quicker performance appraisals and faster promotions. That way, the employee morale also has gone up considerably. Next. So managing change is very important in today's environment. The business environment is changing at a very rapid rate, and what is relevant today will become outdated tomorrow. So all of you very well know that the case of taxis, yellow taxis in big cities, say Mumbai, Calcutta, Chennai, or even Hyderabad. In the 90s and 2000s, you only had at the station, you only had autos or yellow taxis, and you had to depend on them and bargain with them to go to a location where you wanted to go. And very often they would not go to the location you want to go. Then you had Uber, Ola coming up in the 2010 something onwards. And once they came, the yellow taxis became outdated. Nowadays, very few people travel in yellow taxis, and everybody travels in Uber, Ola, or any other app-based ride. So this Uber, Ola has totally changed the transportation business. So this is a big change, and the taxis have now become outdated. Similarly, come to when in the early 2000s and late 90s, we had Nokia was leading this mobile phone market, and they were very happy. They thought nobody will come and overtake us. Then BlackBerry came, and people started using BlackBerry because BlackBerry was having a big screen, and you could see the notes or any other information on a big screen and give your comments. So BlackBerry became the reigning champion. And 2007, when Steve Jobs came with the iPhone, and then other phones came in the market. So initially, BlackBerry said that no, nobody is going to replace us. We are having a very good product, and this smartphones will not be able to do anything on us. We are the market leader. Within a few years, BlackBerry became outdated, and today nobody buys BlackBerry. Today only people use smartphones. So this is where the change happens rapidly. You come to laptops versus smartphone. So in the 1990s and early 2000s, people are using laptops for various activities. Today's generation, they use smartphone only. On the smartphone, they do everything. They do the ordering, they do the calculations, or they write the notes. So smartphone has become a major, people use it in a major way, as compared to laptops or smartphones or even tablets. Another area where change has come is that this medical line, there's a big change happening today. Earlier, suppose you are ill, you go to a doctor and do consultation. Today, after COVID, people are doing online medical consultation in a big way, and people don't want to go to the doctors now. So with video consultation is a big threat to the visits to the doctor. So this is also a new line developing today. And again, one area which will say change is happening very rapidly is the online shopping versus kirana stores. Till the 2010, people went to the stores to buy, kirana stores to buy their needs, basic needs, or they went to the malls. But today, people sit at home, they order their clothing, they order their grocery, they order their other things, this stationery, by sitting at home on Amazon or Flipkart, or there are so many things, or you have this big basket, Reliance Mart. There are so many online shopping available today that people now are less and less people are going to the markets today. So again, it's a big change happening, and the kirana stores now they are coming, and they are also become part of the online shopping. The last point I wanted to make is that it's very important for you people being in the agri business, and fertilizers are very important for the crop growth. And all of you know that there are basically you have got the primary fertilizers, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash. Then you have the secondary fertilizers, calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. And then you have the tertiary fertilizers like this in traces like copper, manganese, zinc, iron, and other small traces. So earlier in the 60s and 70s, up to 80s, 90s, people are using conventional fertilizers. By conventional fertilizer, I mean that these fertilizers are sold in bags, say urea or diammonium phosphate or potash. You sell them in 50 to 50 kg bags, and people, the farmers used to buy these conventional fertilizers. Then slowly what happened is that this company started developing the water soluble fertilizers. So there with drip irrigation, you could use the drip irrigation and supply fertilizers to the plants. And now what's happening is that now we have nano fertilizers. Nano particle, you know that they are very small particles of the order of 10 to the power of -8 size. It's very small. And now IFCO has developed the nano urea fertilizer, and one bottle of nano urea can replace one bag of conventional fertilizer. So look at change. So 50 kg of fertilizer is being replaced by one small bottle of 500 ml. So this is a change happening in the fertilizer business. Similarly, we're going to have nano DAP and nano MOP very shortly. So that this fertilizer business is going to change rapidly and in a great manner. And tomorrow, this bags, the transportation of bags, and all those things will stop, and you will only have transportation in bottles. So again, these changes happening at a rapid pace, and you need to be very much on your mark and see that how to take care of these changes. Next. So how to manage change successfully? See, old ways won't open new doors. You need to have new ways to open new doors. So look out for change and always plan and strategize changes. Always have open culture. Promote openness to change. And only then you can manage change successfully. You should have a small team, organize meetings and discussions to create consensus regarding managing change, and also estimate the likely impact of upcoming changes on the organization. And then you can go ahead and make the change happen. Next. So again, this further building on the last slide. How you manage change. You gather information from all sources, conferences, reading journals, or internet. Scan the environment and look out for trends and shifts in the attitude and behavior of customers and competitors. And with the team members, we have a session of brainstorming to get new ideas. Always have a flat team. Don't have bureaucracy in decision making. And build the innovation in the DNA of the organization. For example, 3M is an organization where they have innovation in their DNA. Similarly, there are other companies which have in their DNA, they have the innovation built into them, so that they can easily take care of the changes. And always you should have few leaders who lead the change and take it forward. And the top management is always very important in any activity, including managing change. So top management has to support the change process, and only then you can make it successful. Next. So I'm giving an example of change management in your earlier company, HR department of RCF. So all of you must be knowing that, or you will know when you go to companies, that human resource department is always perceived to be distant, inapproachable, and unfriendly. Though they may not be so, they may be friendly or they may be approachable, but the perception is there in the public mind that they are distant, they don't care for others, and they are unfriendly. So to overcome this perception and to improve the HR image and actually functioning, so we had a model called People Capability Maturity Model, and this model was implemented in RCF. And in my book, I have described in detail how that thing was done in the RCF. And basically, we made a cross-functional team and studied the areas where the improvements are required. And we did improvements in the following areas: training and development, compensation, performance management, work environment, and staffing. These are very important areas which we chose. And the company, then the HR department and the people felt that the big change has come in the RCF. And after the implementation, all the employees gave very positive feedback. And till today, that system is going on in RCF. Next. So in your life, basically, you should have attitude of gratitude in all your life, because when you're thankful for the things you have, it does wonders for you. And one habit I have practiced in my life is that thank God, or those people don't believe in God. There may be some atheists also in everywhere. So you can thank nature for all the good things in life, first thing in the morning or just before going to sleep. So that puts you in a good frame of mind. And always maintain a journal where you express your gratitude for the various things you have in life. And develop the habit of giving to others. And this, when you give to others, you make the ground, prepare the ground for receiving from others. The more you give, the more you receive. This is the basic mantra of life. That learn to give to others, and definitely you'll get much more in your life. And this attitude of gratitude helps us in living a calm and peaceful life and makes us happy. So always, because there are so many things in life for which you can be grateful: for your family, for your career, for your children, or other things, or that you have you are in a good college and learning very important things for your career, or you have done very well in your exams, or any other thing. So you should maintain the journal and note it down that I'm grateful for these things in my life. And naturally, when you do this, you'll become more and more happy, and further it will develop. You'll get more and more things in return in your life. Next. So we think that we think that other people will make us happy. No, you have to make yourself happy in your life. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your actions. And happy people are those who believe that they have control over their lives. And if you think that your wife is going to make you happy, or your father is going to make you happy, or your other people, friends are going to make you happy, then you are mistaken. So learn to take control of your life and spend your time with people who have a positive attitude to life. And always place a trust in God or benign force, and develop a surrender mindset. You say that I am doing my best, and definitely whatever happens, okay, but I'll be satisfied with what I'm doing, and definitely success will come to you. But don't think while working that keeping the end in mind. The process which you do will definitely give you success in life. And always smile. Smiling helps to lift your mood. and develop a grateful temperament. So that once you are grateful for the various things in life, you become more and more happy. And important thing in life is that give back to people around you. You may be more fortunate in your life, so give back to people around you, and definitely the more fortunate people will give many things back to you. And do daily meditation or prayers. Meditation or prayers definitely helps you increase your happiness quotient. So basically, the important thing is that you and you only are responsible for your happiness and nobody else. Keep that in mind very well. Next point. So this, as you go and join companies and other agencies, you will have to prepare a strategy for an organization. So in a strategy, because many companies fail because they do not have a good strategy in place. For example, all of you know that Kingfisher was there doing very well, and then they took action to take over this Air Deccan, and then their failure started, and by 2012 they were out of business. So the strategy, anything you take, any action you take, should have a proper planning process with the defined mission, objectives and goals, and do the scanning of the environment and do the SWOT analysis. You know, SWOT is strength, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. So these are things, this analysis should be done by each and every company. And also use the Porter's 5 force analysis, supplier power and buyer power. Basically, when you have suppliers, means they have more power, then you say supplier power. Buyer power means that there are many competitors. Then you have the buyer power. For example, in the airline business, you have only 2 suppliers. You have Boeing and you have Airbus. So suppliers also have great power. And buyers means we have multiple brands and buyer has more power over the other people. Threats of new entrants. For example, you can say that if you're having a restaurant or eatery, many people can come because new people can easily come to the market. But if you are in the airplane business, on this airline business, not many people can come into airline because it needs a lot of cost, a lot of money it needs to start airline. So threats of new entrants may be less in an airline as compared to other businesses. Threat of substitutes and degree of rivalry in an industry. So these things help you to do the analysis of your company. And then you formulate strategy. You study the available risks and available what things are available to you, and risks to be assessed properly, and strategy should be formulated. Next. And how to implement strategy? Your plans should align with missions and values. Have effective leadership team, and allocate proper resources, including the money which is required for the strategy implementation. Assign the roles and responsibilities to the various people, and align people with the strategy. Communicate on the ground, and on the ground you should implement it so that people know what is being implemented. So strategy implementation is very important, and you should people need to follow it in a right manner. Next. And finally, after the strategy is implemented, you monitor strategy and also evaluate the strategy. And if the results are good as per the plan, as per the plan, you're on the right path. If the results are not good, then you need to change your strategy and study again and come back after making changes. So I want to give a few examples of competitive strategy in the various companies. All of you know that in the late up to 83, we had only 2 cars in the Indian market. We had the Ambassador and the Fiat, and there was no other third player in the market. In 83, you had Maruti Suzuki, and then Suzuki name now has come. So they came, and all people then started to buy only Maruti cars, and nobody wanted to buy Ambassador cars or Fiat cars, and today they are not in the market. So they had the advantage that they had a very good car, modern car with all facilities and good mileage. So all people, naturally, with their advantage, the market was captured by Maruti. Coming to cost advantages, other strategy to be adopted. There's a company called Omifco, a joint venture company of Oman oil company, and IFCO and Kripco in India. because for making fertilizers, making urea, you need gas. And in gas, gas is costly because India is importing gas, and the gas is costly in India. Gas is cheap in Oman. So these companies formed joint venture and set up a urea plant in Oman. And they use the cheap gas to produce cheap urea and sell to India and the world. So that is a cost advantage utilized by OMIFCO. Coming to market dominance strategy, you have Jio. So Jio came to the market in 16 in the mobile market, and they first gave free calls to everybody. Then they reduced the charges like anything. So with their low rates, what happened that they got the market share, and other companies were forced to also come down and charge less. So the Reliance Jio dominated the market with their strategy of market dominance. And again, you have Kindle. So Kindle is again a device to read the various novels or PDFs or other things. And Kindle is the only major player in the e-reader business. And all of that is dominating the entire market. And they have got very big market share as compared to others like Kobo others. So 90% you can say that Kindle is the market share of Kindle in the e-reader market. Again, in price leadership, you have Jio, because they set the price for the mobile phones for the time per minute. They slash the charges for data and for talk time. And today everybody is following that. And today India is a very cheap market for the mobile phones, this data as compared to the world. And the leadership is maintained by Jio because of his price leadership. Another strategy can be followed as diversification. So in GAIL, what we did is that earlier GAIL was only a pipeline company. So from pipelines, we moved to LPG recovery. Then we moved to petrochemicals from gas. Then we moved to the liquid transportation. And finally, we moved to exploration and production of crude and gas. So they diversified from being only a pipeline company transporting natural gas to a multi-sector business. Similarly, my earlier company, PDIL, initially was only working in the field of fertilizers. And then to gain more business, we diversified into oil and gas. We diversified into city gas distribution and other areas. Also, PDIL diversified into foreign, they tried to get jobs abroad. So they also diversified the workplace. So by diversification also, the strategy can be followed and to get success. And cost reduction strategy can be followed by some companies. For example, RCF, what we did was that we reduced the consumption of natural gas as a fuel and also as a raw material. And also we reduced the consumption of water, other things, naturally by reducing the cost of, reducing the use of gas as a fuel and raw material, your costs come down. And then you become more competitive and your profits also go up. So this is an example of cost reduction in RCF. Next. So this I'm telling about my earlier company, PDIL. I don't have much time now, I think. So I'll just be quickly in this that PDIL was not doing very well in the year 2007. And there was an aging workforce and systems were very outdated and poor office ambience and the staff was less motivated. So when I went there, I developed a new vision, mission statement, and brand new logo was developed with the employees' participation. And we also had large-scale recruitment of young engineers. And we had a wage revision. We had annual sports meet for employees and families. And the offices were made modern. And one important thing we made was flexi time working, which was loved by all the women employees also. So next point. So by this, and also in the IT field, we introduced ERP and benchmarked for the efficiency of the operations. As I told you earlier, we diversified into new areas such as refinery units and city gas distribution. And we also went international. We went to Algeria, we went to Australia, other places to get jobs. So that way, our productivity improved by leaps and bounds, and the turnover increased from 46 crores to 111 crores in 4 years. And the profits tripled from 11 crores to 32 crores in over a period of 4 years. And PDIL received award from the Honorable Prime Minister of India for the turnover CPSC award in 2008-9. And coming to RCF, my last company, that was there at Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers. They have two plants at Trombay, Mumbai, and Thal, Raigad. They manufacture fertilizers like urea, NPK, and other fertilizers, and some chemicals like methanol, acetic acid, formic acid, and other chemicals. And they have a network for marketing throughout the country, and they have 8% market share in fertilizers. So company made profit of around 235 crores in 9-10. Next. So again, to improve the RCF profitability, what we did was that we developed a new vision and mission statement, and we went for energy conservation and revamping of plants to improve the operations of the plant, also to improve safety in the plant. What we did is that instead of having a turnover every year, we had turnover, the turnaround maintenance period once in 2 years. That way, every year, 1 month, we would get 15 days more every year for the production, and production went up again. And we also went for the waste recovery, and we used sewage water to convert to good water, processed water, and we became self-sufficient in water. We didn't need to take any water from the municipality, and we're using waste water to use in the plant. We also went for solar power generation of 2 megawatt. And with these things, I think the company, and also next slide, please. We also, this R&D is an important area, and we gave a thrust in R&D, research and development, to produce new fertilizers. And we also had a number of initiatives in HR department, as I mentioned earlier, PCMM, mentoring program for the new recruits, the leave bank, gender audit, where we audited how women feel in the company, how women feel to work in the company. HR Aapke Dwar, the HR went to the workplace. Timely promotions and faster processing of employee benefits were the initiatives in the HR department of RCF. Next. So with these things basically, and also we had some new projects online. So gas turbine projects for energy efficiency and new coal-based plant at Talcher, Odisha. So the energy consumption came down from 6.38 gcal per ton of urea in 10-11 to around 5.5 gcal per ton of urea in 17-18. So this 0.88 gcal per ton of urea resulted in higher profitability, and profit increased to 332 crores in 14-15. And today profits in the company have gone up to 900 crores profit they made last year. So this energy saving and this other things have helped the company improve the profitability from the 245 crores to almost now 900 crores in this year. Next. So what is that? Strive to build legacy, because every person, whatever when you in life, people should remember you after you're gone, and they should always think that what you have done, what have you done recently that which is worth remembering. And what is a life? Every person has something. One person may have that I will do research in some areas and help the farmers or help the other people. Some person may say that I will start a business and give employment to many people. So each person has a different calling in life, and we should decide what you want to do and take control of the course of life. And you should go to bed daily feeling honest and satisfied. So legacy building is very important, and each and every person can, of course, build a legacy in his own way. Each or every man or woman can build legacy in his or own way. For example, Narayan Murthy has built IT legacy in India, Ratan Tata in the business, and there are even people in the lower along the line. For example, I'll give you an example of the Dabbawalas in Mumbai. I think many of you must have heard of Dabbawalas in Mumbai. Next slide talks about that. Dabbawalas. Next slide, please. Dabbawalas, in Mumbai, it's a 130-year-old institution. In Mumbai, people travel long distances. They travel 50 to 100 kilometers daily to go to office. So naturally, they leave home early in the morning. They may leave home at around 6 a.m. in the morning or 7 a.m. in the morning. At that time, the lunch is not prepared at the home. So what happens is that the office goers leave home early in the morning, and the Dabbawalas collect dabbas from different houses, and then Dabbawalas deliver tiffin to the recipient of the dabba. And 5,000 dabbawalas deliver lunch to lakhs of working people in Mumbai. And the same dabba goes back in the evening to the home for next day. And this system is very efficient and it is having efficiency of 10.96%. That means that for every million things, hardly 4 dabbas will get misplaced here or there. So it is very accurate. And even Prince Charles of England, Richard Branson have praised their efficiency, and they say that they are doing a great job of delivering the dabbas to the office goers. The next slide shows you in a chart form how the dabbawalas, how they go. They pick up the dabba from the house at around 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. They go to the local train, travel local train for 1 hour. Then they start at the destination station, and then they go and give the dabbas to the customers. And after that, at 2:30, between 1 and 2:30 p.m., the dabbas again collected. Again, it goes back to the stations and goes back to the home. So this way, the dabbawalas are delivering success, and they have made their own legacy. So this legacy is now, people are abroad are coming and they are seeing how they are doing this, because they don't have any computer, they don't have any other system in place, but they have a well-defined procedure and which they are following, and which is helping them to have very high efficiency in their operations. So this is the legacy of dabbawalas of Mumbai. They are not very educated people, but still they have had the legacy for people to cherish in life. Next. So I come to my last slides. So in life, of course, everybody wants to succeed in life. So how to succeed in life? Habits, as I mentioned earlier, they will make or break you. Good habits, you will become a success. With bad habits, you will not be a success. Example you have of Tendulkar and Vinod Kamli. Both were very talented, but Tendulkar had a good habits, and Kamli fell into he was into taking other drugs and other things, and he had bad habits which broke him, and he couldn't be successful as much as Tendulkar. And be honest in your dealing with others. Have good sleep, because in today's world, if you have good sleep of 6 to 8 hours daily, you'll be very efficient in your operations. And if you have less sleep, again, your health will be affected. So you should have good sleep in your daily, and always take a break when you work. Don't take work for throughout your year. Take breaks from time to time so that you recharge yourself. And today we have this email and computers, and so people have stopped going to the workplace, have stopped going to the people. They communicate by email. It's not very good. Better you go to the workplace or go to your colleagues and talk. So manage by walking around. Have empathy in communications. In speaking, when you talk to people, show empathy that you understand what the person is saying and appreciate his difficulties or her difficulties. Prayer and meditation will give you strength. So always go for prayers and meditation. Attitude of gratitude is very important in life, so that you you become happy. Time management is important, that you have time management and maintain time. Whatever time is given to you, you should do the job on time. And discipline and perseverance is very important. Be disciplined in life and persevere. Don't give up at the first failure. In life, you may have some failures from time to time, but never give up. Always persevere, and success is yours. Build relationships. Have relationships in the workplace, at home, and other places. Manage and be stressed by healthy living. Stress is, in today's world, stress is a big killer, and you have to manage stress and be stressed by healthy living. Control anger. Anger is a very bad thing to have. You should control anger to the extent possible. Writing and maintaining a journal is very important, so that you jot your ideas, jot your successes, and jot your failures, that they will give you motivation to succeed. Goal setting. You should have goals, the immediate goals, medium-term goals, and long-term goals, and keep on monitoring them. And that is the way to go forward. Training in today's world is very important. Always go for training and retraining, because things are changing at a rapid pace, and we need to train ourselves to face the modern world. And motivation. To be motivated at the workplace, you have to have other things in place. that if you are motivated at the workplace, you will give your best. And your happiness is your responsibility. So take charge of your life, and definitely success will come to you. And with this, I come to the end of my talk. I think I exceeded by 5-10 minutes. So anyway, I'm available for questions now, and you can ask me any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rajan sir. It was really a very useful talk. I'm telling you personally. I don't know about others, but personally for me, this was a very useful presentation. I have taken a few screenshots for me to save and read up later, and I'm sure I will be purchasing your book. Before we go for any questions, I just want to mention here, sir, you kept talking about legacy. Sir, you yourself have created a legacy with your role at GAIL, PDIL, and RCF, the kind of transformations that have been brought about, and these organizations are supporting our country to a large extent. So there's a lot of contribution from your side for that, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. The book that sir has mentioned, sir has spoken about, Life Lessons for Managers, is available on Amazon and Flipkart. So anyone interested should purchase. And we would definitely, sir, have a book at our library for our students to refer to.
Yeah.
A few questions have come up in the chat box has been sent to me.
Sure.
One question that has come is, what inspired you to write this book, sir?
So basically, I wanted to tell my success to people, so people can learn, because we should not keep whatever you learn in life to yourself. Share the knowledge and share the things with other people, so people can learn from my failure and successes. So I wanted to share my life journey, so that it's not that I always had success, also had failures. In my book, I have talked about the various failures I have in life. So basically, if you share the knowledge, people will learn from you. So my main aim was to, so people should learn from my experiences. That's why I penned this book.
Thank you, sir, for that answer. A few other questions have come. One question that is common among some of the people is that in our work life and as leaders or as managers or wherever we are working, we come across people with different attitudes and different perspectives. Sometimes we may not really like their attitude or perspective. So how do we deal with such situations on a daily basis, especially in our workplace?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, very good question asked by your students, because you may not get the people will in life. You may get people with a good temperament or bad temperament, or people may not listen to what you're saying, or they may not do the job properly, or they may delay things. Definitely, it's a very tough thing to manage, but you have to show patience. You have to counsel the people regularly, and it's a process. It's not that in 1 or 2 days you can change people. You have to keep on trying to, and most important thing is that you should maintain your focus and don't get angry, and show empathy. Because once you show empathy, when a person comes to you and says that, so I'm having a problem with my family, or I'm having problem with my boss, or whatever it is, listen to him. Maybe I'm transferred to some far off place, to say in Assam, and my family is young, I cannot take them there, or my father and mother are sitting here. So at that time, maybe you cannot help him to stop the promotion, or stop the transfer, stop the other things. But if you listen to him empathetically and tell him, yes, I empathize with you, and surely in the future date we'll do something, but right now you have to go to that place, as I'm saying. So you have to deal. So this is not there's no ready-made answer for that. You learn on the job. Most important thing is that treat them as humans, show empathy to the people, and when you be open and frank and if you trust the people will trust you. For example, I give example of flexi timing. When I had flexi timing in PDIL, many HOD said that some people will come early in office and they'll sit there and go back early. They will not do any job sitting, but they'll come early, while over the time, and then go back to home early. I said, let's trust the employees. Once you trust the employees will trust you also. So develop a trust with the employees. So that naturally, when trust is there, they think, yes, my boss is trusting me. My boss is giving me more powers, empowering me, or listening to me. And naturally, I should deliver. Because human tendency is not that to human tendency is not to always negate. If you are kind to a person, definitely you'll get kindness from the other person. This is what I observed in life. And even the most can say the persons who are very not so straight, even they I could modify their behavior to some extent. And if you trust them, you give them power, you listen to them empathetically, I'm very sure that you can manage all people in your life.